Well, it's time to start finding out how good this distillery team really is. It's the first of hopefully many cup finals for the rest of the season. We've faced Larne in the Antrim Shield, we've taken calculated gambles over the festive period, and now the league table's getting tighter as well. This is going to be an interesting second half of the season. Let's hope we can start to become dominant. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 122 of this Build a Nation story, Lifting Spirits with me, Daniel. We are back today, as we mentioned in the intro, for our first cup final of the season. We face a Larne side who have been pretty good, but we are starting to get the better of quite regularly now, before a big game away at Crusaders just 3 days later. Now, due to the fixture scheduling over the festive period, we have taken some calculated risks this winter. And unfortunately, we've dropped more points than Linfield, which means the gap at the top is now just 5. We're hopeful that that's not going to get any shorter as we try and stay in charge of the title race. But if you're looking forward to seeing if we can do it and get a trophy in the cabinet, then please do put a thumbs up on it. We'll have a look at what's been happening in the transfer window too, because a few players have been leaving the club. And of course, the 2 big signings are now registered and they are absolutely flying in front of goal. So let's go and have a look at the transfers first. We'll start with the stuff off the pitch before we move on it. Bobby Harvey is going to Shelbourne at the end of the year by the looks of it. And we're starting to get offers for Miles Stow. But I'll talk about how I'm trying to combat that as we go through the rest of the window. If we have a look at the players out, it is a big list. There's a couple that were pre-agreed we knew about. There's a few who were returning loan players who had been away from the club or out of the first team squad. And a couple of extras where we've just tried to get them some football. So let's start with the 2 we know about. Ian Lewington has gone to today's opponent's Larne. He won't be able to feature for them in the final. He's already played for us in this competition this year. And he scored 2 in his first 4 games, so he looks a bit of a steal for them. John Lynch has gone off to the SPL. He's a backup player now with Livingston. And to be fair, he was a bit of a casualty from not being homegrown. Also going out are Jaffet and Pardy, who returned from loan just to say hello really. He's now gone out and will be at Burton. His contract expires after that. Bobby Harvey is at Newport, and as we've seen, he's very likely to be going to Shelbourne after that at the end of his contract. Tamindu Puate back in and back out. Same club, Cork City, but with a bigger wage contribution. Morgan Farrington to Bray Wanderers. He'd featured for us a little bit off the bench this year, but he needs football, and I'm just hopeful that he'll get some. He'll play well. You can see he's improving a little bit there. Let's hope that continues. Ryan Miller, one of our youngsters, is off to Bangor. He's a decent player, but probably won't make it at our level. And then Tennant Dykes has gone to Glentoran. He started the season really well for us, playing well, performing above expectation. But now his form's dwindled a little, and there's not as much need for him because Lafferty no longer featuring up front. He's playing off the left. We've got a new striker, a new right winger who are both stars, and Dykes is surplus to requirements. So I'd rather get him football elsewhere, which he's doing. So they're all the players that have left the club. Does mean the squad's a little thinner, and with some of the injuries we've had, it has been a problem. But overall, we are absolutely thrilling. We did have some disappointments. Firstly, Glentoran nicked a smash and grab against us a couple of weeks ago. But the big one, and I'll come back to the rest of the fixtures in a minute, was Linfield at home. I mean, I've got to show you this. We dominated the game. They only had 2 shots on target and they scored them both. We had plenty and just didn't take chances. We'll get them back next time, I'm sure. But you were with me for a thrilling win against Larne and a very good performance at Club Bruges. We followed it up by sealing the job in Europe with a 3-0 win against Kesvada. The Hungarians put to the sword by Miles Stow and a wheel and brace. A 1-0 win away at Airdrie in the SPFL trophy with Darren Mills as we continue to try and defend that crown. A 4-2 win at Coleraine on Boxing Day. Damien Jude, Mark Scully and a wheel and brace of penalties got us that win. The devastating home defeat against Linfield despite a good performance followed. But we bounced back against Glenarvan. It was Scully's brace, it was Lynch and it was Lewington. And it was a really good win. And both of those, playing for the last time before they left the club, was really nice to see them both score. It was a little bit of a sentimental moment for me. Then we get to January. And we get a certain player registered, don't we? Johnny Merivale Austin. He'd been at the club a few weeks. He got an assist in that SPFL game. And my words, what did he do afterwards? He was phenomenal. He came into the team, he scored a hat-trick, and he didn't just do that, by the way. He got an assist as well. He also had 3 goals disallowed and missed a penalty. On another day, he could have had 7. But he got 3, Scully got 1, as did Mackenzie and Griffiths. And the boy just made an instant impact. You can see him further down as well. He's a super player. 8 goals in 3 starts. We're going to have a lot of fun with this kid, I'm pretty sure. A 2-0 win against Cliftonville followed that. A Neil Daly penalty and Morris Simpson making it a comfortable win. A 6-0 win at home to Larne. Yes, 6-0 against them. An early red card at 1-0 made it very comfortable. Jordan Gash got that goal while it was 11v11. Then it was Austin with 4 and Stephen Cowan with a late goal. Then frustration against Glentoran. A 1-0 lead early, but we threw it away. Morris Simpson got our goal. We were rotating the side, but again, look at the dominance. We probably should have scored a second. Against Glenarvan, no such problem. A 3-0 win, Merivale, Austin and a Whelan brace. And then a 4-0 win against Ballyclare. It was 2 for Mark Scully, back from injury. He'd missed all of the calendar year since Portadown. Then 1 for Lafferty and 1 for Simpson as we move into the next round. We have got some difficult draws coming up. We obviously have the League Cup final against Linfield next month, which we'll show on camera. We're away to Warren Point in the Cup. We're away to St Johnstone, who are top of the championship in the SPFL trophy. We've not got easy draws in these competitions, but we are through to the Europa Conference last 16. Crucially, the last 32 will feature Linfield as well. They did finish in the top 24. 5 points for Larne, not quite enough, but Linfield got 8, so well done to them. But for us, a very good second half of the season in store. Lots of trophies to fight for and hopefully a league title to be won. And we've got that big goal of becoming a dominant side in Northern Ireland. I just want to show you very quickly what's been happening in a transfer window so far. Mainly for a particular reason, because it's not a huge amount in terms of the big teams. We are seeing a few loan players going over to the big teams. And we're seeing a few players go for nominal fees, but nothing extortionate. So you've got Mbete going from Exeter to Larne for 100 grand. But if you have a look at him on paper, he's a very good player at this level. Certainly would be a squad player for us. And then you've also got Linfield bringing in Alan Buchanan, a youngster on loan. And he's pretty good likewise, would be a squad player for us. So we're all bringing in a similar level of player to add depth to the squad. And I just hope that we'll be the most consistent one come the end of this season. Let's go and find out by getting into it. It is the first game today. It is the big game today. It's a chance to win a trophy. We've only won this twice in our history. It does add a little bit of finance to the club, which is important. You saw that offer for Stow earlier. Our director of football does like to take things out of our hands. We saw with Lennon last year. So I've kind of tried to be quite clever about it. I've not requested the facility upgrades or anything yet. So I want the bank balance to be as high as possible on the 31st of January. And then hopefully when we get to February, we'll have a full complement to work with and we can request the facilities because we've got to push on now. Larne are a good side and we've got our focus on them, but we do need to keep an eye on Linfield as well. They're playing one of their games in hand in the league against Ballymena today. Of course, that will put them a fixture ahead of us, but it could close the gap to 2 points, which would be more nervy given where we've been for the most part. We're going to close down Dan Kenny. We're going to get our first 11 in. We rotated in full at the weekend. And we should be going back to our first 11 tonight. Back in a minute to run through the team. Well, I think if we'd made the following statement a year ago, you might have coughed your drink up if you'd predicted it. Damien Dunn is the man dropping out of the side today because he is not good enough to get in. Yes, that's correct. He's got a heavy match load, so we're looking after him too. But Merivale Austin will play behind Scully. Cowan's absolutely flying out on the right. I can't drop him. And unfortunately, none of them can play off the left, which is saving Ben Parry at the minute. But Damien Dunn is on the bench today, and there is no fluke about that. Our 11 in full sees one other change from what you might expect, because Luke Smith has now overtaken Goss as first choice centre-half. That means our 11 is Neil Kane in goal. Ray and Reid the fullbacks with Smith and Mackenzie as centre-half. Jude and Gash the midfield duo with Merivale Austin ahead of them. And then Parry and Cowan off Scully up front, who came back with, well, a plum at the weekend. Let's hope he can add to that tonight. Last time we played Larne, we won 6-0, albeit they rotated a bit for that game. But when we're at full strength and when we're at our best, if we get an early goal on the board, we normally look a real threat. Let's see how we do today. We've got so much firepower in the team. and they've dropped out 2 or 3 of their regulars. But this is going to be a real opportunity for us. They're starting Harley Jones, our former centre-half. We know what to expect from him, but we also know he's not the quickest. So maybe it gives us an opportunity with Scully, with Merivale Austin, to try and get him behind and cause a threat. We're on the front foot against everyone now. We fear nobody domestically. And with 5 minutes gone, we've had the first shot of the game and not yet seen a highlight until now. 7 minutes in with Ray. On the left-hand side, finds Gash. Looks for the options ahead of him, but goes alone. Chips into Merivale Austin. There's the quality instantly. It's a completely different level of team. The fact that you look on our bench today, go back to where we were this time last year when we were trying to win competitions and compete in finals. I mean, we brought on Jonathan McElhatton to try and save us in the cup final, don't forget. As Cowan gets in again, shot saved well. But if you look at our bench today, Neil Daly, Damien Dunn, Dermot Lafferty, Miles Stowles, Tommy Murphy, Cameron Goss, they're all players that are first team level or were first team last year. It's a huge upgrade in development. You can see from the stats we're utterly dominant, and to not get service to pretty good strikers is one hell of an achievement on our part. We're doing our best to dominate the game, and we look pretty comfortable for the most part. As Scully takes the kick-off, it works its way to Jude. He goes for the big ball forward, which isn't great in fairness. And while we are perhaps lacking that ruthless cutting edge yet, because with Scully and with Merivale Austin coming in, we've not got a settled front four, and we've not got a front four that are cohesive, that have played together for a long time. But boy, have they got magic. And look at this boy go. Merivale Austin in, and Harley Jones, as we predicted pre-match, he just couldn't cope. That was the man playing for us at centre-half last year, and this season he's gifting us a final. Merivale Austin is actually a good penalty taker as well. 10 goals already, not bad going for a month's work. But he is a superstar. He's got us 2-0 up, and to have a penalty taker is no harm either, as a corner comes in from Larne, headed away to Dunlop, and now White, on the right, puts the cross into the back post. Rowley heads over. First even sniff at goal they've had really, Larne, a half chance, but not really causing any threat. And I'm just looking forward to it now. I feel confident lifting trophies. I feel like we're going to win games. And now we can take people off and give them a rest, because there's a big game in 3 days' time. So let's look at the sensible options here. We've got Stephen Cowan not playing that well. Dunn will come on for him. Not really sure out of these two who's best in each position. If it was down to me, I'd probably say that Austin's better on the right, and the star rating would tend to agree with that. 4.5 star. That is a proper player for less than £2 a week. Lafferty will come on the left for Parry. Whelan will go on up front as well. I mean, they're 3 pretty good changes at this level, aren't they? In fact, they were all first choice at the start of this season. That tells you how quick we've developed. I'm also looking in defence. Mackenzie is on a yellow card. We'll take him off for Goss, and we'll save the last one just in case of injury. Then if not, we'll bring one of the young fullbacks on. I'm trying to keep Stow out the limelight this month, because obviously he's attracting quite a bit of interest from other clubs. He's a good player, and we want to keep him on the low. But Damien Jude is struggling physically now, so he'll be the man to come off instead. Neil Daly is on as the deep line playmaker, and with 15 to go, I mean, to not feel any threat on your goal is great. It's plain sailing. It's a good cup final. And even from the last time we played, with the addition of Austin, we've just got stronger and stronger. There's 5 minutes to go. They will throw everything now, as McMullen goes long downfield. 4 flicks down. Gash is there first, and Smith, another solid game at centre-half. He finds Daly. Big ball over to Whelan. Don't forget about this boy. He can run still. He's out of contract at the end of June. He won't sign a new one at his current club, and he won't sign one with us either, as Damien Dunn gets in. Doesn't want us to forget about him. It's a good save from McMullen down to his left. But such a dominant performance. A great cup final victory. And players that are rising to the big game, to the occasion. Not wilting under the pressure. And that is something different for us, as Lafferty gets it on the left. Through ball to Dunn. He's in one-on-one. Damien Dunn rounds the goalkeeper and puts it in. This is a level of team we have not seen in this save. And it feels like a big moment. If we can do what we've done with Scully, with Merivale Austin, with Damien Dunn in so many other positions, we're going to be one hell of a side next year. The first trophy of the season is up, albeit it's the smallest one. But we've got to start to create a dynasty. We've only won 1 Irish League title. We've only won 2 Shields. We've only won 2 League Cups. We've only won 1 cup, I think, the Irish Cup. We've got to try and make this a regular occurrence, and this is the first big step this season as Neil Kane lifts the Antrim Shield. Distillery, in front of an almost full house, lift the first trophy of the season. Back in a moment for Crusaders on Saturday. It's important we don't slip up in that one, because with the gap down to 5 points, we've got to be wary. It's the one I really want to win. Well, as quick as that bottle of champagne was finished after the game against Larne, we are back on Friday night for a big game. Now, Linfield have closed the gap to 2 points. They've won a game in hand. They go away to Portadown today, which should be very winnable. Larne have got Glentoran, but we don't really need to worry about them now. This is about us v Linfield, and we have got to be consistent. Let's go and have a look at who's fit. But first, some very good news off the pitch, because that game on Tuesday night was quite a record-breaking one. Firstly, we brought in over 100 grand for winning a trophy. And then perhaps more importantly, the new record gate receipts, 140,000. And the last time was in the Shield final too. So really pushing on there. Let's go and get through the tactical meeting though. I'm not sure how many we're going to need to rest here. I've got a feeling it might be a few. No, most of the team's fit by the looks of it. Going to make 1 or 2 tweaks and we'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, the one change I've made to the 11 today perhaps reminds you of the one downside of the new signing Merivale Austin, because he has got a recurrent injury, which means he's high risk. So when we play every 3 days, we basically have to pick which game's more important, because that's the only one he's going to be starting. So he comes out for Damien Dunn, who, let's be fair, isn't a bad substitute, is he? Scored the other goal in that final. And we're now going to go in with the same 11 aside from that to a big game away at Crusaders. This one's sort of the luxury game because we've got 4 days off before the next match. Then we're going to have to rotate for the next few weeks. But for now, we're going through to Crusaders away, and hopefully we can get that winning record on. We have had a few disappointments over winter, we mentioned. Linfield and particularly the Glentoran game. But this is a chance for us to get things right, because most of the time we have been winning comfortably. I can't say this is a hugely recognisable Crusaders team, but they've got one of our former players in Sean Moore from the start, another in Ian Walker on the bench, and Matthew Lusty is, I think, a real player who's been going for years. So let's go and tell the lads to pick up where they've left off. A few inspired, a few motivated, as we head into the first half. Bigger crowds at other clubs in the Irish Prem, which is a good sign as well. Hopefully ours will follow with a reputation boost next year. To do that, we need to win the league and win some cups, and we've just about started that process. Larne have missed an early penalty and conceded 2 goals against Glentoran, so a bit of a hangover from Tuesday for them. But what about us? We've not started great either. Norton gets the ball for Crusaders, right to Whiteman even, getting fooled by that tongue twister there. He cuts in from the right-hand side to Jordan, chipped over to McDowell, headed away by Smith. Now can we counter with Cowan? No. Back to his goalkeeper, Neil Kane, who will start again. And he plays out short to Paul Ray. Chance to carry it forward, over halfway unopposed, up towards Scully, who may have been offside. Gets away with it now for Damien Dunn. Through to Stephen Cowan, across to Mark Scully. I thought he'd missed it. It was straight at the keeper, but he couldn't get across goal in time. It's a brilliant move. It's a great counter-attack. And to be fair, while it did look offside from the original ball, it's stunning football on the counter. 1-0 up Lisburn Distillery, and the early goal is normally a good sign. Now can we go and make it comfortable again, as Damien Dunn nicks it high up from the kickoff. Maybe a foul, but we get away with it. Jude over to Scully, chance to make it 2, but he's forced wide. Cuts it back to Cowan, no, keeps it alive. Oh, great save. Damien Dunn's shot tipped away by the keeper and cleared off the line by the defender. 15 minutes gone, it's all Distillery, and we're 1-0 up. Now all we need is Portadown to cause a shot. Well, just 5 minutes later, free kick for Reed, big ball into the box for Distillery, cleared away as far as Whiteman, and he can carry it down the left, but it's a poor ball. Damien Dunn picks up possession on the right-hand side, 17 on the clock, gives it away to Hutchinson right on cue, and he can bring it away for Crusaders. Over halfway, but Cowan nicks it. We're pressing them high, we're winning it back. Scully goes for the shot himself. Probably could have laid in Damien Dunn there. It was a little bit greedy. It's a centre-forward doing what he does. In the end, it goes over and it stays 1-0. Not the best performance in the world so far. You can see from the stats, Crusaders are in it, but we're going to praise the lads. We're going to try and keep them positive because, of course, it's been a very emotional week with a trophy being won already. Linfield have got themselves a late first half goal against Portadown, Larne have got one back against Glentoran. And you know what? It's not been a great display, but if we win it, we consider it a good day at the office, don't we? Linfield have doubled their lead. Their goal difference is worse than ours, but they are starting to catch up. And they're finding form and it matters most. I think they're 11 unbeaten now, as McDowell picks the ball up in the middle. Holds it up for Crusaders, who are playing very direct today. Jude gets it from Mackenzie, though, and carries forward. Parry on the left. We've got a few really tired legs to look after. As Scully's in from that ball. Was he onside? I'm not sure he is. No. When they keep that wide angle so you can see the referee, you always know what's coming. It's going to have to be Gash and Ray coming off in a minute. But it's been a really good performance. And now Scully has picked up an ankle knock. So on comes Miraval Austin. We're also going to take Gash off for Neil Daly. We're going to bring Stow on for Ray. We're going to take Reed off for Murphy. And then the final sub, I think we're going to take off Jude. Dunn will drop into central midfield. Jude will drop in with Miraval Austin becoming the number 10. And then Max Whelan will go through the middle. Dunn and Daly, which way round are they better? Don't think it makes much of a difference, does it? But we'll do it like that. We've got half an hour to go. We're 1-0 up. We're trying to balance the resting players, keeping people fresh, avoiding injuries, against making sure we win this game, which is crucial. As Dunn puts in a free kick, headed away. Only as far as the edge of the box. Miraval Austin finds Smith. The other thing we didn't mention about Miraval Austin, he's 6'2", and he gets lost because of the height of Scully, but he's a big lad in there. He can handle himself. We're becoming a very physical team too. Linfield are 4-0 up. They're doing their job emphatically. We're making work a bit harder here, but we're 2.5 expected goals. We should probably be scoring a couple more here. As Dunn finds Daly and Stow. Can we make it look more comfortable at least? Ben Parry on the left. Back to Stow again. Into Parry. Great football. Into the box. Is that a pen? It's not. Murphy down to Dunn. No. Good effort off the bar. And Whelan on the rebound puts it in. That one has been ruled out as well. I thought he did look slightly ahead of the last defender, and so it proved. As Smith wins it back for Whelan here. We're becoming rampant late on. Cowan picks it up. There's 2 offside, but he goes alone to Whelan. And now he's on. It's 2-0. And we finally wrap the game up. 9 minutes to go. It's a comfortable win. It's a thoroughly deserved result. But we made a little bit more hard work of it than was needed. 2-0 for us, 4-0 for Linfield. We're no closer to knowing who's going to win it. As Daly puts the corner into the back post. Can we catch the goal difference up late on? Murphy gets the ball on halfway. Again, forcing them back, pressing them in their own half. He goes all the way unopposed. And he finishes it like a true defender. Miles wide, it was an ugly strike. And it's going to remain 2. A brilliant performance though. A very good week for this football club. The feeling of winning trophies again. Being in lots of cup finals. And keeping our grip at the top of the Irish Premiership table. Let's go and have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back. And that one is going to feature another cup final. Well, I think the next episode is where we really start to learn how far we've come, because Linfield battered us in a couple of cup finals and semis last year. They made us look pretty average if we're being honest, but we've done better against them this year. Some of the times we've not got the result, but we've really performed well, and for the most part we've dominated the games. It should be a big attendance, it should be money into the club, but can we make it an Irish dynasty? Because we have got to become the dominant force here. And that game is going to go a long way to telling us if we are. We only won 1 trophy last year. We want to make it 2 or more this time around. Linfield should have European action around then as well. So we'll keep an eye on that for their progress. But if you did enjoy this episode, a first trophy of the season, a new star on the horizon in Johnny Miraval Austin. Remember the name. I wish it could have been a bit shorter. And please do put a thumbs up on it. Fingers crossed we'll get through the last 5 days without Gareth McKeown, our chairperson, selling 1 or more of our stars. If you want to find out the answer, see if we get our facility upgrades pushed through again, and whether we can win a second cup of the season, then please subscribe and turn that notification bell on. I hope you're enjoying the season. We're playing great football and we're starting to look real contenders. I'm hoping by the time Europe comes back around in March, we'll have 2 trophies in the bag with another cup final on the way. Loads of other links in the eye above in the meantime. The head coach will be back here tomorrow. But thank you very much for watching. Your support as always is appreciated. And I'll see you back here next time for more big games and cup finals with Distillery.